I was hired by Bell in 1964, at the age of 19. It was developed under an Army contract with the idea that one day foot soldiers would be flying around with these Buck Rogers devices. The original rocket belt that I flew for Bell was never intended to end up in the movies or show business or anything like it was. He was flying it on a tether in the hangar, Wendell, the inventor, and they had a nylon rope for the safety tether. And he got into a gyration on the tether and got tangled in the rope. And the rocket tubes on it reached 1,388 degrees. They're glowing red hot when it's running. And they melted through the rope, and he dropped about 10 feet to the concrete floor and broke his knee. And then I came along in '64 to fulfill a part of the Army contract that said you could take someone of draft age and with no flight experience, which I had none, and teach them to fly this thing. Wendell was a neighbor of ours, and I used to cut his lawn. It was simply a matter of being in the right place at the right time. Its duration is only 21 seconds, and you can go 60 miles an hour in a matter of seconds with it. In the second day on the job, I was taken down to the hangar where it was and strapped in it, and they start you out with low pressure. It's not enough to get you off the ground. It'll just shove you around. And you're on a safety tether. Once you got the feel of it pushing you, they'd increase the pressure a little bit. You know, you were up and going, but it isn't something that you catch on right away either. It was pretty difficult. You're constantly thinking about where you are, that you've got to have this back on the ground before it runs out. You know, the James Bond movies came along there in the early 60s, and Salzman and Broccoli decided, boy, that's what James Bond needs, is a jetpack. And the movie Thunderball was really the first big movie it ever appeared in. During the filming of the Bond movies, one of my flights, I bounce about 4 feet in the air and almost go over backwards. Filming of the rocket belt flight for Thunderball was done at a little village about 90 miles from Paris called Chateau Anet. We were in Venezuela doing something for the U.S. government when they wanted to originally shoot the scene. So they had a mock-up they made. The Bell people gave them all the dimensions how to build a replica of it that Sean Connery would wear for the close shots. And they took the film crew to Paris and filmed Sean Connery for the close-ups of him taking off. He actually stood on a plank like a teeter-totter, and you couldn't see his feet, but you'd see him lift off. And they filmed that original footage with him with no helmet on. Then they packed up the whole film crew and moved it to the Bahamas, where most of the movie was shot. And we got done in Venezuela and went to Paris to shoot the actual flying scenes. Now, the original moving company had already gone to the Bahamas. So we're all unpacked and ready to go, and we got white helmets. And the director says, no, you can't wear that. We've shot the scene already, and Sean Connery doesn't wear a helmet. We're not flying without a helmet. We just can't do that. They tried painting the helmets flat brown and all. Maybe people wouldn't notice, but it was, stood out like a sore thumb. So they had to bring back the whole crew when they were done in the Bahamas and reshoot Connery's scenes out on the balcony with him stopping to put a helmet on.